Hey everybody, welcome to Juju Show number 9. And this week we've got some fun stuff to show you guys. So let's first do some introductions. Antonio, as always, hello, sir.
Hello, Antonio from the Juju Kubernetes and Big Data team.
Brad, thanks for joining in. Who's muted. And we'll join us later.
Sorry about that.
And James, how's back from lunch? You have a good lunch?
Hey, how's it going? James from Creative Drive here. Yeah, I had a great lunch, breakfast, brunch, whatever you call it.
Cool.
Thanks, sir.
And Jay joining me from down the road. How are we doing, Jay?
It's been a fun, exciting day.
that it has. And Jay comes was working with on the JAAS team of things. So let's hop right into the news of the week. Let's start with everyone's favorite stuff, releases. The last 2 weeks, we've had a couple of different releases go out. We had Juju and conjure-up, I believe, hit both alpha and beta in the 2 weeks since our last show. So let's just talk about beta 1. A few different things of note in there. One we kind of talked about before, which was the Juju login to be able to log into JAAS to help switch between things. The one that I'm really happy with is the memory improvements. If you create a lot of models in Juju, you will see a significant better usage of memory over time with 2.2. And I did a lot of testing and stuff with that, so that one's kind of near and dear to my heart. And then the other one is kind of cool is conjure-up has an update where the steps and the spells for conjure-up can now handle sudo-based activities that need to happen as part of getting stuff going. So if you've got, a bundle that you're working with that really needs some extra setup and steps in order to get a good solid spell with the whole walkthrough, that kind of wizardy flow that conjure-up provides, you've now got some extra power in conjure-up to do some of those things. Have you guys all been playing with the alphas and betas so far? No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. It's good stuff. I'm really excited for 2.2 coming. Speaking of maintenance release, we had a 125.11 go out that had some bug fixes in it. Obviously, 125 is kind of our in bug fix only mode, but it's good to see releases of that stuff still going. It's interesting. I was looking at some statistics, and we're now we're under 1/3 of the models that we see out there are running Juju 125. So good to see Juju 2 adoption going up and up as we get those point releases going and out. And hopefully .2 will be a big push on that. Next up at Community News, I just wanted to plug, I talked about it last time, but I wanted to plug now that I actually have it done, the blog post I did on monitoring your controllers. And really, I feel like the post is really about using Telegraf, Prometheus, and Grafana to monitor stuff in your production infrastructure. It's always good if you're going to run stuff in production to keep an eye on it so you know what's going on. And that blog post is how to use those ready-to-made charms to tie things together. And everyone loves pretty charts. So, you got to go check out those pretty charts you can put together when you're watching your production infrastructure. Anyone else play with those charms at all? Tried them out with things. I know we're using them on some internal production stuff. I visit those a few times a week to check on how things are running.
I haven't got to dig in yet.
Oh, it's good stuff if you're running things in production. I know the next thing I want to do is I want to play with reusing the Grafana and the Prometheus setup for Kubernetes cluster to see what kind of what type of metrics I can get out of the cluster and set up some good things to make sure we're watching in production. And we'll look for that in a future blog post and show, perhaps. Next up, review queue cranks on. There are a couple of good things in the new review queue update that came out. Ganglia and ganglia-node the charms have been updated and promulgated and are kind of re-released with some new stuff. So if you're, speaking of monitoring and watching things, if you're a Ganglia user, make sure to check out those charms. They are going to be much nicer to use. And last up, this one was kind of a fun, light reading. Menno from the Juju core team, he updated the Juju core architecture view of Juju. And so this is kind of a wiki thing set up in GitHub that the teams had over time to kind of help folks understand how all the moving pieces of Juju, which is a complex piece of software, actually fit and how we think about the different pieces and how they're meant to interact and all that. And so it's not for everyone, but if you're of the particularly geeky type and want to kind of dive in, it's a good little bit of reading to kind of understand some of the work that goes on behind the scenes to make things like Juju deploy and models and multiple models and all that kind of possible. And the kind of extent of the smart folks have put in some brain time to find a good architecture to things. So make sure to check out, we'll have links to all this in the show notes. Make sure to go check those out and read up. And these all hit the mailing list. The architecture one hit the Juju dev mailing list. So if you're looking for more of that kind of material, the dev mailing list is definitely a place to be at. You know what? We're missing Adam. Where is Adam? Adam was going to join us today. I'm going to ping him. But while we try to get him in here, I will prepare to show our topic of the day. You guys may notice I'm not in my normal studio location, or also known as my office. But I'm working today from a Mac laptop, and I'm actually running an OS X, which is not something I normally do. And so why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing it to make a point. I am doing this because there was recent news that conjure-up's also been updated, but you can use Juju and conjure-up from within OS X. And I know a lot of folks that work with Juju and things will end up having a Ubuntu VM, and they'll do things in the VM in order to use Juju, kind of more natively. But if you've got an Ubuntu machine, an OS X machine, there's absolutely nothing that says you can't just use Juju from it. So what I was going to do was kind of share my world of that. All right, can everyone see my terminal?
Yes.
All righty. So let's see. I'm going to prove that this is iTerm running on OS X. So here you can see I need to do my .4 update. I've not done it yet because I knew this show was coming and I didn't want to break things before we did this live stream. Always better to do live demos with older stuff, I guess. So let's see what we've got. Juju. We have the beta right now, and I updated to conjure-up. Oops, sorry. Conjure-up running. This is the 2.1 conjure-up, which is not the latest beta one, but it's the one that's been released into brew. So if you would like to get this, brew install, you can get the beta version of Juju by using this, by grabbing the devel. What do they call it in brew? Is it a fork or a branch or I don't know, I guess we would call it a channel or something.
Not a keg.
Oh, that would make sense. Brew in a keg.
Formula.
Huh? A formula. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so you can get stable Juju without the devel, but since, hey, we're bleeding edge and playing with betas, let's grab the devel. And the same thing with conjure-up. You can do conjure-up and then just brew install conjure-up. I don't think conjure-up has a devel right now, so don't try to get that. But just
it's just not it's not ready yet.
Adam, it's not ready yet. Okay. So anyway, don't do the devel on the conjure-up, but definitely do it on the Juju and try out the stuff that's coming down the pipe. So that's great. Let's see what I've got here. Juju credentials. Hey, look, I've got all my same credentials that I normally run with. I can work with Juju against AWS, Azure, Google. I've got a MAS set up that I call GUI MAS, and it all just works. And I can demonstrate here. I'm running controllers, and I've got a few different ones here. I've got a DB test one that I'm running on my MAS. I've got an HA testing that I'm also running that is a manual. I've got JAAS itself. I can work with JAAS from here. And I'm currently looking at playing with a Zeppelin demo on it right now. And then I've got the Juju Show, which is just something I did to show off that I could bootstrap to AWS from here. So let's see, Juju models. So my different models that I've got here, and I can status. I'm currently working on a blog post about using Zeppelin for some cool data, I don't know, analytics work. So here you can see I've been playing with Postgres and Zeppelin, and it's all up and running. And the awesome thing is I haven't had to use a VM or SSH to another machine or anything. I'm just using my raw kind of Mac here that I've got going. So Adam, you mind if I show off some conjure-up bits?
Go for it.
All right. You know what I'm going to do? Let me switch to my MAS because I think that'll be more fun to play with, because it's always fun to play with your own real hardware in a MAS. So let's go to DB test here. And so I've got a controller here. I've got a couple of models. So let's add another model and we'll do this conjure demo. Alrighty, and what do I want to do here? Well, actually I shouldn't even do that. I'm sorry. See, this just shows what I do. Let's conjure up Kubernetes, because everyone, KubeCon's going on in honor of KubeCon. Let's get some Kubernetes going on. Evidently my terminal is not big enough now that I increased the font. So my MAS has 8 machines in it, and some of them are in use. So I'm going to go with the core. What's nice is conjure-up kind of gives you this lovely little wizard experience. So from my Mac terminal here, I can go through and say, you know what? I want to, you can see the different controllers I've got going here. I'm going to go ahead and do it on my GUI MAS and put it on that DB test controller. And this is kind of fun. I can play with what's actually being installed here. What should I play with, Adam? Anything of interest here? I can go in and configure how many units.
Yeah, you can probably add additional units for the worker.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually a good point. Let's go through and do that. Where's my worker? Configure, and let's have 2 workers because 1 is just never enough. All right. Then I can go through and hit deploy. And what's really cool is, I mean, you can go through and deploy bundles, but this is a nice interactive way from the command line to tweak configuration, tweak what's going on, and spells give you a little bit more power. We were talking earlier how I saw in the release notes for the 2.2 alpha of conjure-up that you had some ability to do some things with sudo in the spells. You want to talk about that, Adam?
Yeah, so with the next release of Kubernetes bundles, they're switching over to the snap version of kubectl. And so in order to install a snap without logging into the snap store, you need sudo. So that was a driving force behind giving people the ability to mark a step as required sudo, so that you can be prompted for your root password to do a snap install of those resources.
Well, that is cool. So there's a good case of a use case driving new fancy features that folks can use and leverage. And while I'm doing that, what I wanted to just show, because I always love seeing blinky lights, even if they're virtual, is to go and grab my MAS and get my list of my nodes. Now let's go share that off. Hello, MAS. Can you see? Oh, no. Stop.
Still screen sharing, Rick? I just see blankness.
Yeah, I broke it. I
no.
screen shared the wrong window. How about that? So here you can see the machines spinning to come up for my Kubernetes core bundle. And so soon I will have my own Kubernetes to play with on my MAS hardware down in my basement down below. So I think out of the room here, we've got a couple of Mac users, right? You guys tend to use Juju and such natively, or?
Yeah, I use Juju on OSX.
Very cool.
I've been using Juju on my Mac for years, really. And now that JAAS is out in beta, I've been using it there a lot more because I can manage those environments and not have to worry. I don't need to use a local environment. But yeah, even JAAS or Juju to put things out on AWS, it's been pretty great on a Mac for.
Cool. What's fun is this was actually a new Mac, and so I had all my Juju set up and credentials and things, and I did the kind of Mac migrate my stuff to a new machine for me when this new one came in. And I thought well, Macs don't know anything about all my Juju config, and I thought I'd have to redo some controllers and stuff, but it all came along just fine. I picked up the new Mac and ran Juju models, and they were all sitting there, and ran Juju status, and it connected. And I was impressed with that kind of migration setup that they had there. But let's see. The other thing is just, I actually used this the other day as a kind of quick and dirty way to get an Ubuntu, a blank Ubuntu machine. Like, I've got a bunch of Ubuntu around, but they've all got stuff on them or whatnot. And someone was having a problem, and I thought, you know what I can do is just quickly just Juju add machine, and a machine spun up. And then I could connect to it and browse around on it, and I could see, like, what does a default empty machine have available, or, you know, kind of playground to deal with that on. And so even beyond deploying Kubernetes and stuff, sometimes it's just handy. It's, you know, you get kind of used to the tools around, and you can, you know, spin up and have some playgrounds created, and then tear it down when you're done. Destroy model, take all those machines away.
Yeah, I commonly use that instead of, I used to be able to use the Omni Finder to be able to get the right instance I want. But now I can be able to just dash constraints, give me a mem equal 4 GB machine, you know, give me force it onto a trusty or Xenial Ubuntu, and then I can get those and get a quick dev machine on AWS to do whatever I need to do on. So I also find it's pretty handy not having to go either through the Amazon command line, as I'm just usually have models already operating in AWS.
Or grab another series, because you have the availability to grab different series of Ubuntu very easily. It's much faster to spin up an old trusty VM for me on a cloud somewhere than it is for me to go and set up VirtualBox and grab a trusty, you know, ISO and set up a whole VM setup locally. Grabbing a new one out of the cloud is a lot faster and easier for me if I'm on the Mac now. Obviously, if I go to an Ubuntu machine, I can spin up containers and stuff. And even then, I've got to go get the container images and things downloaded and all that. So it can oftentimes be a handy little set of tools to have around for your toolbox. So I encourage everyone, go grab your Macs, go grab Brew, and install Juju, install conjure-up. Conjure-up's new to OS X. That's part of our new, you know, it's kind of new to that set of the tools. So I'm really excited to see more of the kind of portfolio of the Juju tooling coming along and being friendly to multiple OSs. So go give it a shot. Let us know what you find. Feel free to leave comments in the video here, or shoot us an email on the Juju mailing list, which is linked down in the show notes below. That's it for today. Anyone have anything else they want to kind of bring up or chat about before we go?
Just want to shout out to Adam for getting that work done. And I think if you don't have Juju installed, just brew install conjure will give you the Juju and the conjure bits, right, Adam?
Yeah, it gives you everything. Yep.
Yeah. So if you just want to get started with Juju today, just brew install conjure-up. You should get everything you got going and just walk along through the terminal.
Be good to go. We are looking at maybe utilizing xHive for a kind of local host deployment mechanism. So it's not on the roadmap yet, but it's something that we've been talking about. So maybe in the future we'll have, you know, full range of deployment options on a Mac.
Cool, good stuff. Thanks,
Cool.
Adam.
And Conjure-up's open source, available. You know what we should do is link the GitHub repo, Python-based tool. And, you know, if you're interested in getting involved on making the experience better on OS X, you know, don't hesitate to file bugs, create pull requests, and join the community.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you for the next show later.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.